Okay, let's concentrate. Good evening, dear women. ברוכות הבאות, יישר כוח שאתן מגיעות, נשים יקרות. Let's bless first of all, בעזרת השם, שיגיע משיח צדקנו במהרה בימינו, אמן. שיגיע מבשר, אליהו הנביא, אליהו תשבי, אליהו גלעד מרם משיח דוד, אליהו הנביא זכור לטוב בעזרת השם. ברוכה הבאה, ברוכה הבאה. טוב, תראי, במיוחד הכיסא נשאר פה. תראי, ישר בחזית. אוקיי. לא נורא, ברוך השם, הנה. Okay, dear women, let's start. Dear women, this week, first of all, on the איפה זה? רשמתי כ"ח, on the 28th, dear women, of Sivan, on the 28th of Sivan, it's the Yortzeit of Shmuel HaNavi. We will send you texts, but you remember to light candles for Shmuel HaNavi, זכותו תגן עלינו, dear women. So, Shmuel, בכ"ח בסיוון, Shmuel HaNavi, don't forget, it's the Yortzeit of Shmuel HaNavi, don't forget to light candles. Okay? מחר זה כ"ז, on the 28th of Sivan, tomorrow is Tuesday, on Wednesday, it's Wednesday, which means on the eve, Sivan, Iyar, סליחה. Iyar, תודה, תודה, תודה. תודה, תודה, נשמה. Thank you, Iyar. This coming Wednesday, it's the 28th of Iyar, תודה, thank you. 28th of Iyar, dear women, I want you to light candles for Shmuel HaNavi and ask, בעזרת השם, Shmuel HaNavi, Shmuel the prophet was considered like Moshe and Aaron, like both of them. Like Moshe and Aaron, so it's asking Bezrat Hashem that he will speak with Hashem, will be our mouth, and Mashiach will reveal himself in this world already. Bezrat Hashem, b'mera b'yameinu, amen. So, this Shabbat we are start. זה ראש חודש סיוון פה. Dear women, let's concentrate. This Shabbat we start בשעה טובה חומש במדבר. You have lessons on TorahAnytime.com that I gave on Chumash Bamidbar. This is the first portion of Chumash Bamidbar, which is called also Bamidbar. Dear women, you can go over there for Dvar Torah. This Shabbat we are finishing Pirkei Avot. We are reading the 6th chapter of Pirkei Avot on this Shabbat. Usually the Ashkenazi, they continue to read Pirkei Avot until Rosh Hashanah, dear women. So, but now we finish, מההתחלה. Dear women, now we are finishing Pirkei Avot. We started at the first chapter after the first Shabbat after Passover, and we are finishing Shabbat before Shavuot. Bezrat Hashem, Friday is Rosh Chodesh Sivan. It's the first day of the month of Sivan, the Jewish month of Sivan. Okay? Friday. This Friday is the first. בסדר? Okay. This Friday it's only one day of Rosh Chodesh, dear women. So as Darkenu Bakodesh, I always give you the name of God, the right combination for the month. So I want to remind you that we light candles on Thursday night, because Thursday night is Erev Rosh Chodesh, it's the eve of Rosh Chodesh, okay? עכשיו, looks like it's... Yeah. Yes, because Friday is already Rosh Chodesh. It starts on the night, and from Thursday night. So dear women, the pasuk, the verse that the name of God comes from is Yedotav uletzeh mishkan hashanit. It's part of the holy tent that was built in the desert, dear women, okay, for the ark. So dear women, the first letters of this sentence, which comes from Chumash Shmot, dear women, chapter 26, are the name of God for the month of Sivan. So it's Yud, the letter Yud, and the letter Vav, and then we have Kuf, and then this is one name. And the second name, dear women, it's Aleph, then Yud, and then Kuf, dear women. Okay? The two names that we need to... You remember that the Kuf is a Hey, but I cannot write it over here. So you write in your Siddur, and when you come to Musaf, to the davening of Musaf Shel Rosh Chodesh, it's only on Friday morning. It's one day of Rosh Chodesh. So, tell it to your husbands, to your children, that say Musaf, okay? So when we come to Musaf and we come to the sentence, Tfilat 18, Baruch Ata Hashem, Baruch Ata Hashem, Mekadesh Yisrael, Verashei Chodashim, we concentrate, we do not say the letters we don't take the letters out of our mouth, we just see the letters in front of our eyes. We see the letters of the two names of God for the right combination for the month of Sivan. And Bezrat Hashem, with this, God will open a chuppah of prosperity for all of the children of Israel. And Bezrat Hashem, with this, Mashiach will reveal himself, Bezrat Hashem. Another thing, dear women, which is very important, just spread it out. Everybody, תחלקו את זה ביניכם. אני אשים לכם פה, וכאן. Everybody has. On the eve of Rosh Chodesh Sivan, we say the blessing for the children, a prayer that the Shila Kadosh wrote. On the eve of Rosh Chodesh Sivan, dear women, don't forget, it's Thursday night when we light the candle for Rosh Chodesh, we put charity, and then we say the blessing for the Rosh Chodesh Sivan. It's a special blessing of the Shila Kadosh. מה? כן, יום חמישי בלילה, כי זה ערב ראש חודש. כן, כן, אם את רוצה, יש לי גם פה, אני יכולה להביא לך. Everybody has? אוקיי. יום חמישי בלילה. הנה, חיל, תוכלי לחלק את זה.
כן, כן. יום חמישי.
Dear women, it's very important. The prayer of the Shila Kadosh, so we'll have children that will be big in Torah, Bezrat Hashem, and that they will get married and have righteous children too. So this is a special tefillah, a special prayer for Rosh Chodesh Sivan, Erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan, the eve of Rosh Chodesh. So it's this coming Thursday. Okay, Thursday night, we light the candle for Rosh Chodesh, and we ask that God will lighten our life, Bezrat Hashem, and the life of all the children of Israel, and that Mashiach will appear already. כבר, בעזרת השם, we put money in charity box, כי צדקה תציל ממוות. Charity protects us from everything, God forbid, from every judgment, dear women. And we read this blessing. And we mention our children's name and all the children of Israel. בסדר? לזכות את הרבים, בעזרת השם. So dear, now we finish, I think, with the announcements. Let's see if I forgot something. I don't think so. Baruch Hashem. So now let's continue. A lesson before last lesson, we spoke about the 3 meals of Shabbat. You remember? And we said that the one who eats the 3 meals of Shabbat, Bezrat Hashem, is protected from the judgment of hell, is protected from the suffering of the times of Mashiach, and is protected from Milchemet Gog uMagog. מי שאוכל 3 סעודות של שבת ומענג את השבת, which means the first סעודה, which is the kiddush on Friday night, and then the second סעודה, which is after the davening in the morning, אחרי שחרית, the kiddush after שחרית, and then the third one is סעודה שלישית, the third סעודה. סעודה המוצי. המוצי, בשר, דגים, כן. כן. לא, 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 ממש סעודה. ממש סעודה, ממש עם המוצי. המוצי, בנות, girls, when I say סעודה, זה סעודה with המוצי, the whole סעודה. זה עונג שבת. This is called, dear women, he who dear women, he or she who has the merit to eat the suda, the meals of Shabbat, and with pleasure in order to make Hashem happy and say Dvar Torah on the table, dear women. You have things, you have Dvar Torah to say. Even one sentence is also already Dvar Torah. From one sentence, another person will say something, and this will say something, and especially the small children. Tell them what did they study in the yeshiva, they can say around the table. תודה. ברוך אתה מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. So tell them, dear women, ask them what did they say, what did they hear in the yeshiva, what did they study, ובעזרת השם נשים יקרות, then they can say דבר Torah on the table. So dear women, if you have, בעזרת השם, give pleasure to Hashem on Shabbat, dear women, הכל בסדר? כן. So if you have on Shabbat, you made pleasure to Hashem, oneg Shabbat, which means you had pleasure in Shabbat, a pleasure that has inside it the Torah. It's not that I sat and ate, I did not bless, I did not do anything. I need to wash my hands, netilat yadayim, to do netilat yadayim. After that, to say amotzi. After amotzi, we eat the things on the table. We think about divrei Torah, we say dvar Torah on the table. Then we do mayim achronim chova. Everybody, including the women, okay? Everybody ate. Mayim achronim chova ze neged melech sdomit, dear women. So, we do mayim achronim chova, we say birkat hamazon, dear women, and if we have guests, they bless us as guests, they will bless the owner of the house, dear women. This is oneg Shabbat, okay? And this is, we do not gain weight from this, dear women. Listen, why? We do not gain weight. I have to explain to you because it's calorie free. Because when Shabbat comes in, we get an addition for our soul that is under the throne of Hashem. It's like we are eating for two souls. Dear women, when Shabbat goes out, that soul goes back to Hashem and announces everything that we did on Shabbat. Dear women, what do we do because we feel that we are not protected like we are protected on Shabbat? Brucha ba'ira. What do we do that we feel that we are not protected on Shabbat when Shabbat goes up because that soul went up?
Every week the same soul is coming to us?
כן, זה החצי השני שלך שלא, הרי לא כל הנשמה נמצאת איתך. בשבת יורד החצי השני.
בשבת אנחנו קומפליטית?
כן. ועכשיו כל מה שאת עושה לענג את השבת, היא מדווחת למעלה. אז צריך שיהיה לה דברים טובים לדווח. Dear women, so what do we do when Shabbat goes out? When we say Arvit, if you look carefully, in the Arvit of Motzei Shabbat, we can see that we say chapter 91 in Tehillim. Why? Because we say, Ki malachav yetzavelach lishmercha bechol drachecha. That God is going to send an angel to protect you in all of your ways. When we say an angel, we think about the angel. The more big that we have it in our imagination, this is the angel that will be with us the whole week. Understand? Because the Neshama Torah goes back to place. And then we need another protection. So we say chapter 91 in Tehillim, Ki malachav yetzavelach lishmercha bechol drachecha. We say that in order to create this angel, how do we create it? In our imagination, in our thoughts. Once we said the words and we meant it, we create an angel. Just like I told last lesson, if we answer amen, we create an angel. If we have the meaning behind it, we create a full angel. Because once we said amen, we have the body of the angel, but the angel needs a soul. You know, dear women, look at us. If the first human being did not sin, if he did not sin, the first human being, then our body wouldn't be this body that we have, flesh and blood. We would have a spiritual body. It became flesh and blood because he sinned. That's why our body has to go to the ground. Because it has to go out of us. It has to go, and there should be a separation. But we'll speak about the Bli Neder Acharei Shavuot. There should be a separation.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. You said that the half a soul comes Friday night to us?
Yes, it's addition of a soul.
After midnight?
No, ישר איך שמתחיל שבת, איך שנכנס השבת. Yes. No. And not, dear women. Dear women, let's concentrate. Today it's kacha. When Shabbat comes in, we light the candles, we are ready for Shabbat, we bless, we receive an addition of the soul. Because part of our soul is under the throne of Hashem and part is with us. The part that we need to fix is with us. But part of the soul is under the throne of Hashem. Shabbat is like the times of Mashiach. Mamash. Shabbat is parallel to that 7,000 that Mashiach will be here, B'ezrat Hashem. B'mera b'yameinu amen. So, this soul goes with us through the whole Shabbat. If we do good things, we daven, we say Tehillim, we wash our hands, we say Dvar Torah around the table, we read the parasha together, we ask the children for Dvar Torah, in order that everybody will be engaged in Shabbat. And then the 3 meals we eat, dear women, and all of this is, God takes that soul b'motzei Shabbat, when Shabbat goes out, after we say, V'tenech Elokim mital hashamayim v'shamnei haaretz, which means after we bless, the soul goes back, dear women, and over there she gives judgment over everything that we did on Shabbat. Now, if we did not do what we need to do, because he who gives pleasure on Shabbat to Hashem and does all his commandments on Shabbat, God gives him all of his wishes. You remember? נותן לו כל המענגת שבת, נותנים לו כל משאלות ליבו. Everything that he wishes, God gives him. You remember we spoke about it to a lesson, not the last lesson, but the one before that, the previous lesson. Dear women, but if we don't, this pleasure that is written in Hebrew, oneg, becomes nega. Dear women, the oneg becomes nega. It's the same thing. You see it over here? Oneg becomes nega. נגע זה חולי, זה לא שלום בית, זה בעיות עם הילדים, כל זה נגע.
כאילו נגיעה של משהו.
זה בדיוק הפוך. נגע means, dear women, it becomes נגע means sickness, judgment over us. This is, can, because you are not protected. If you did Oneg Shabbat, God says, and God provides. What God promises, he provides. It's not a human being. A human being can promise and he may not do that. There's a question mark if he will fulfill his promise or not, but not God. God fulfills all of his promises. So God said, he who keeps Shabbat and keeps all of the laws of Shabbat and eats the 3 meals of Shabbat with happiness, besimcha, eats on Shabbat, dear women, I want to tell you, God says, I will give him all of his wishes, all of his heart's wishes for the best, Bezrat Hashem. You know, that's why it's very important to eat a fish also on Shabbat. כי כל האוכל דג, תראו, כל האוכל כל האוכל דג, ביום של דג ניצל מדג. Okay, he who eats a fish, he who eats fish on a day of fish is saved from fish. Now, what does it mean, dear women? He who eats fish, you know what fish is, but on the day of fish, because Daled in numerical value is 4, Gimel in numerical value is 3, together it's 7, dear women. Okay, so he who eats fish on the 7th day, which is Shabbat, is saved from fish. The fish over here means dag, dina shel geinom. Dina shel geinom. From the judgment of hell. You see? This is Rashi Tevot. The Dalet is dina, the Gimel geinom. Dear women, so he who eats a fish on the day of fish, dear women, is saved from the judgment of hell. And I told you already, we went through Masechet Shabbat, page 118. Dear women, he who eats the 3 meals is saved from 3 poranuyot, from 3 bad things. One is the suffering of the days of Mashiach. Dear women, the first meal is over the suffering of the in the times of Mashiach. And then you are saved from Gehinom. Gehinom, dear women, from hell. You are saved from hell, dear women. And the third one is, you're going, Bezrat Hashem, we are going all to be saved from the World War III, the Gog and Magog. It's the last war, Bezrat Hashem. So God, Bezrat Hashem, will save all of us. Maybe Bezrat Hashem will not come even to that. Now, dear women, let's continue. מה היא שאלה?
לא, חלבי, דברי חלב. מותר לאכול בבית, בבוקר, ביום שבת בבוקר.
בבוקר צריך להיות קידוש.
מישהו יש לו מחלה סוכרת.
מה מתוקה?
אם יש מחלה סוכרת לבן אדם, לא יכולה לחכות עד 12 צריך לשתות משהו.
זה יוצא מן הכלל, זה משהו אחר. אז נותנים לו לשתות משהו, זה יוצא מזה, בן אדם חולה, אז בשבת אם בן אדם חולה, מתירים לו לשתות ולאכול משהו. אוקיי, let's continue, because I want to speak about שבועות, מה?
אפשר לעשות קידוש ולאכול, כמו שבלי קידוש.
מותר לשתות מים. לפני הקידוש, מותר לשתות מים אם בן אדם לא מרגיש טוב בכלל שיחזיק אותו, ואחר כך יעשה קידוש. אוקיי, dear women, let's continue. Okay, now חג שבועות is next week, לבריאות. Next week, dear women, חג שבועות תעשה לך ביקורי קציר חיטים. The wheat is collected on the time of Chag Shavuot. Dear women, I would like to tell you just in general quickly a few things about Chag Shavuot because I want to speak about King David and the fourth meal of Shabbat. Okay? You know that Shavuot is the birthday of King David, and it's also the date that he passed away. So it's the same day. It's like Moshe Rabbeinu on Zayin Be'adar, that he was born and passed away on the 7th of Adar. The King David was born on the 6th of Sivan, on the Vav Sivan, and he passed away on Vav Sivan. There are few names for this holiday, and I would like just to go because it tells something about the holiday. It is called Chag HaShavuot. Why is it called the holiday of the weeks? Shavuot in translation is weeks. Because, dear women, it's the weeks, it means 7 weeks that we are counting from Passover. Okay, so we have, because Shavuot, Sheva, Milshon Sheva from the word 7, and 7 weeks that we count, the 50th day is already Shavuot, dear women. So this is called Shavuot. But if we put the Nikud underneath with a Shva, you see 2 dots, instead of Kamatz over here, it's the holiday of promises. זה הופך להיות שבועות. You see? שבועות. Which means the holiday of promises. What kind of...
לא, אתה קצת אני רוצה לשבועות.
מה לעשות? כן. Oh, בסדר. So, dear women, why is it promises? Because God promised that He will not leave the children of Israel. You know, I have to tell you, I went to Zechariah and Ishayahu. Just I'll open in Zechariah. I want to show you what Zechariah the prophet says. Just before, Zechariah is the prophet before Malachi. Chapter 8. Dear women, shh, let's concentrate. Shh, tishmu. רק רגע. Okay, dear women, Zechariah the prophet says, shh. In Zechariah the prophet it says a few things, and I will just touch it. If we'll have time at the end, I'm going to give you an explanation for that. First of all, the city of Jerusalem is going to have a new name. It says that בתוך ירושלים ונקרא ירושלים עיר האמת, the city of truth, והר השם צבאות, הר הקודש. And it will be the mountain, the city of truth, and the mountain of Hashem, master of legions, the holy mountain. This will be בעזרת השם, כשיגיע המשיח, the new name of בעזרת השם ירושלים. And this emet is part of what I would like to speak about Shavuot, because emet includes modesty. We're going to speak, I think I didn't write it over here, emet ve'adam. We're going to speak about it in a few minutes. Anava, emet ve'adam. So this is part of it. And God says that He's not going to leave the children of Israel, that He's, even though the children of Israel transgressed, but He's going, because He promised, He's going to keep the children of Israel and to put them back in the right place. in the place that they are supposed to be, Be'ezrat Hashem. Dear women, I would like to tell you, this time of Shavuot, this is the promise of Hashem, but this time of Shavuot, it's like a tube, a container. We can be a container of the wisdom of Hashem. This is an opportunity that the gates of heaven will be open for us to be a container of the wisdom of His Torah. Mamash, it's the izdamnut, once a year it comes again. Dear women, because on Shavuot we received, it's also called Matan Torah, Chag Matan Torah, we received the Torah. On this holiday, dear women, we have the opportunity that God will open the gates of heaven for us, our children and Klal Yisrael, that we will have the wisdom of Hashem, that we will contain the Torah of Hashem. We will remember and understand all the pardes of the Torah of Hashem. How can we do that? By being modest, but we'll speak with them about it when we'll continue the lesson. So we see that God promised that He will take care of the children of Israel, even though they transgressed. But the children of Israel also gave a promise, because we gave a promise, Naaseh v'nishma, that we will do and we will listen. So this is the holiday of promises. God promised to us and we promised to Him. God promised that He will take care of us, and we promise that we will do His commandments and we will listen to the oral Torah and do everything. It's also called Chag HaBikurim. Chag HaBikurim means that we bring from, you remember that when we have Sudat Amenim, the meal of Amenim, we bless. And I always tell you that when we have the fruits of the land of Israel, they come first in order to bless. So dear women, this B'Chag HaBikurim, we bring always the fruits, we bring it to the temple. We used to bring to the temple the fruits that the land of Israel was blessed with. And the Harizal, Zchutot Hagen Alanu, says, this is a fixing of what the spies did. Because of the spies that came and they slandered the land of Israel, Bikurim, this mitzvah, this commandment to bring from the fruits of the land of Israel, is in order to fix this slandering. In order that the children of Israel will love the land of Israel, will understand the beauty and the holiness that the land of Israel has. Dear women, so all this Bikurim, that's why it's called also Chag HaBikurim, because it came in order that we will know how to appreciate the present that God gave us, the Morashah. It's something that we cannot give to anyone else. When God decides that this part of land should be, the part of land should be for the children of Israel, we cannot give any part of this land to anyone else, because God is the King of Kings. He decides what will happen to the land of Israel. You can see that all of our prime ministers that gave the parts of the land of Israel, God forbid, everybody, each one of them, something happened to him. Each and every one of them. Why? Because God says, this is mine. You remember last week we had two portions of the week. Behar ve'bechukotai. And God says, over there in the portion of Behar, it speaks about Shnat Shemitah, the 7th year, that we leave all the crops in the field, we do not touch it, and we do not plant anything new. God says, you're going to leave, and all the poor people and animals will eat from it. So the children of Israel are asking God, so what will we have to eat? Because it's like 3 years that we have to work on the ground. So He says, I'm going to give you profit on the 6th year, before the 7th year of Shemitah. Shemitah means to leave all the crops of the fields like this, not to touch them. So dear women, He says, on the 6th year, I'm going to give you enough food that it will last for 3 years. The 6th, the 7th, and the 8th. Why? Because on the 8th we need to plant. So there won't be still crops in the field, okay? Nobody can promise such a promise except for Hashem.
Only 3 years.
It's 3 years, because then on the 9th year you'll have the profits of the 8th year that you already planted. So the 6th and the 7th and the 8th year, God will provide for us from the 6th year. For 3 years we'll have. So just think about it. But over there He says, you have to leave the 7th year, He says, because this is my land. This is all of earth, everything in earth belongs to me. He says on the 50th year, which means after we count 7, 7, 7, 7, okay, 7 times 7, the 50th year is Shnat Yovel. It's the year that we blow the shofar, And everybody that has lands that belongs to someone else, everybody comes back to his own land, even if he didn't have money to pay for it. Listen, we use it today also. It's like קרן קיימת in Israel. It's something like this. It's אותו משהו בסגנון קרן קיימת של ישראל. לא הטאבו, אלא קרן קיימת. Dear women, what does it mean? God wants us to understand. How long do we live? So we have Yovel. Yovel is 50 years. 7 times 7 years, okay? It's 50 years. So if you look at it, it's 50 years or 70 years or 80 years. King David says, so approximately we have a Yovel, okay, the 50th year, and a little bit more, okay? Dear women, it means that nothing belongs to us. God says everything is mine. You think it belongs to you, because once we buy, we say, this house belongs to us. It's written, you see, I have a note that says, that I have a treaty, a scheme, that says that this house belongs, nothing belongs to us. So on the 50th year, God tells us, everything is mine. You let everybody that the land belongs to him to go back to his own land. It means that God wants to teach us, dear women, that we should be very modest. We don't come here in order to gain property. I'll have this, and I'll have this, and I'll have this, and I will take the children of Israel out of the land of Israel. This land will be ours. This will be ours. No, we didn't come to be tamaim, it says. Which means that we are hungry to have more and more and more. We are only human beings. We stay for a short time and we leave this earth. So, dear women, I would like to say, from Passover, dear women, from Passover to Shavuot, Shavuot is also called Atzeret, a stop, dear women. You remember on Sukkot, we have also 7 days, the 8th day is Atzeret, dear women. So this is parallel to that, to Sukkot. We can see it starts from Pesach, Passover, we have 7 weeks. It ends on Atzeret. The Atzeret is Shavuot. It's the 8th, okay, dear women. So we can see by the names, by the name of the holiday, we can learn about the holiday. I would like to remind you, it says in Shir Shirim, Dvash v'chalav tachat leshonech, which means that the land of Israel is also, and the Torah is prepared, compared to milk and honey. So we eat on Shavuot milk food, divrei chalav, dairy food, and we eat also honey on Shavuot. I know a lot of people like dairy food. Yes. But don't forget, it's a holiday, you have to eat also meat. כי יום טוב צריך לאכול גם meat. תזכרו את זה. So prepare in a way that, God forbid, you won't mix anything. Okay, another thing. We can see that we eat meat, milk, from the sentence from Chumash Bamidbar that says, בהקריבכם מנחה חדשה, when you're going to give a new mincha LaHashem b'Shavuotechem, which means on the altar you're going to give a sacrifice, and if you look at the first letters of this sentence, you see chalav, you see milk, you see it? You see milk, chalav, chet lamed bet, chalav. You see it? בהקריבכם מנחה חדשה LaHashem b'Shavuotechem, it adds up to milk. Another thing, Chet is 8 in numerical value, Lamed is 30, Bet is 2, dear women, we have here 40, which means, dear women, it's also for the 40 days that Moshe Rabbeinu went to the mountain of Sinai in order to receive the Torah, 40 days and 40 nights. You see it in Chalav? We have Tikkun Shavuot. At the eve of Shavuot, dear women, the men sit down and study Torah. And we have it because Moshe Rabbeinu, when he called, 3 days, they had to prepare and purify himself. For 3 days, they had to purify themselves. And then on the 3rd day, dear women, after the 3rd day, they were supposed to stand around the mountain of Sinai. Dear women, it's written, Vayotze Moshe et ha'am likrat Elokim min ha'machaneh. Moshe had to shout because they were sleeping. He had to shout and wake them up in order that they will have the awareness in order to stand around the mountain of Sinai. Because of that, we do Tikkun Shavuot. The fixing of Shavuot, we study the whole night Torah, dear women. עכשיו, another thing, מגילת רות.
Between Monday night to Tuesday morning?
No, Tuesday night.
Tuesday night. Tuesday night. כי ערב שבועות זה יום שלישי. בסדר? Okay, dear women, we read also מגילת רות. יש את זה בחומש. Dear women...
So, there's too much noise going on, I'm sorry. So, תיקון השבועות is for what?
תיקון שבועות זה על מנת שקיבלנו את התורה בחג השבועות, ויתרה על כן לתקן את זה שעם ישראל לא קמו כל כך מהר ובזריזות לבד, שמשה רבנו היה צריך לצעוק ולהקים אותם. Dear women, so, what I said right now, dear women, it's Moshe Rabbeinu had to shout, to call them, to wake them up. They were asleep. So we do the fixing of Shavuot for this also. Okay, not only because we received the Torah on Ma'amad Har Sinai, but also for that Moshe Rabbeinu had to shout and call everybody up and to take them out of the tents in order that they will stand around mountain of Sinai. Usually we put flowers and fruits in the synagogue on Shavuot because when we received the Torah, the mountain was flourishing with flowers and vegetables and yes, with fruits. So we do that. It's a minhag on Shavuot to do that, dear women. We read Megillat Ruth. Quickly, because I want to come to למה שרציתי ללמד היום. We read, this is only, I want to remind you, we read Megillat Ruth on Shavuot, dear women. I would like to explain why do we read Megillat Ruth. From Megillat Ruth, we learn how to convert, to have Giorim veGiorot. From Ruth, we learn how to convert. When she told her mother-in-law, Ki el asher telchi elech, to where you're going to go, I will go. Uvasher talini alin, and where you're going to sleep, I am going to sleep. Amech ami, your people are my people, ve'elokai elokai, and your God is my God. You know, Ruth was a descendant of Balak. You remember Balak that called Bilam? You remember he had two daughters, Orpah and Ruth. They both of them got married to the daughters of Elimelech. He was part of the family of Nachshon ben Aminadab from the tribe of Judea. His wife was Naomi. Dear women, just in general, I'm giving it to you. So, dear women, they got married to Machlon veKilion. Machalon, which comes from the word machala, sickness, he passed away, and Kilion, Mishol Kilia, that won't be in the world anymore, also he passed away. Both of them were widows. Naomi told them to go back to their father. But at the beginning, both of them did not want to go, but Orpah went. Orpah means Oref, which means that she was going to put her back to her mother-in-law, and she's going to go back. She went back to her father. And then, dear women, Ruth did not want to go. She wanted to become Jewish, totally. She wanted to go. She wanted to continue to be Jewish, dear women. So, she went with her mother-in-law. Then, in general, she went and slept near Boaz, dear women. She covered her hair. She had twins from him. Boaz lived for 1 day after he married her, only 1 day, in order that she will get pregnant. She had a child that was called Oved, and he was the father of Ishai, and Ishai was the father of King David. Okay, this is the legacy of David HaMelech. I gave you a lesson, I think it's on the internet, which I think it was last year, that I gave you how King David came to this world from the beginning. I'm not going to go into it now because I want to do something else today. So,
how does it go back to Tamar?
זה מגיע, אני לא אתכנס לזה עכשיו. בטח, זה מגיע לי, dear women, it goes back to Tamar, it goes back to Lot. It goes mamash to the beginning. But I gave a lesson about it. I think it is on the, sorry? 2 years ago. 2 years ago, okay. It's on the internet 2 years ago, Shavuot. How was, you know the name? Shavuot. It says Shavuot. Look, 2 years, because I gave the whole thing. I don't want to go because I want to speak about Shabbat Melaveh Malka. So I want you to hear about it. Let's do it tonight. Ken. Just wanted to give you a few things. We can see by the name Ruth, which was not Jewish, you know, she had 7 mitzvot, 7 commandments, like all Bnei Noach, all the sons of Noah. Okay? So she had 7 commandments. And then in order to have 613 commandments, she had to have 606 more commandments to accept upon herself. Okay? The name Ruth, dear women, Reish is 200, Taf is 400, and Vav is 6 is 606. In her name, we already know that she's going to accept 606 commandments on the 7 that she already has, and together it's 613, Taryag mitzvot. Ken, Ruth. Dear women, this is her name, and you can see over here, dear women, that she added on the commandments that she already have, just like the children of Israel. We started from Noach, Shem ben Noach, dear women, and we started from the 7 commandments that we had from Noach. We received on Ma'amad Har Sinai, on Shavuot, we received 613 mitzvot, which means commandments, together with the 7 commandments that we have, the Rabbanan. Okay, this is the Oraita. We have 620 mitzvot, commandments, dear women. 620 numerical value is Keter. You see? A crown. Keter is over here, dear women. Because Taf is 400, Chaf is 20, and Reish is 200, it's 620. If God forbid we do not do the commandments, it becomes karet, lo alenu. Which means it's a punishment of deceasing from this world. This is karet. You understand? It's the same thing. You remember we had lessons about the letters, dear women. So you can see it over here. So we have inside the name of Ruth already a hint what she's going to accept upon herself, Bezrat Hashem, when she converts to Judaism.
But you're not counting the 7 2 times, only the 613?
No, 7 from the children of Noach.
Okay.
Those are the 7 that God gave Noach.
They're not inside the 613?
No. We have more 606 that we received on Ma'amad Har Sinai. Together it's 613. Okay?
How it becomes 620 again?
Because there are also 7 commandments that the Rabbanan gave us. You have it in the booklet, you remember? When I gave you a booklet over there, it's the lighting of candles of Shabbat, Chanukah. We have the 7 commandments that our sages gave us. Together it's 620. Okay, now we are going, Bezrat Hashem, Sudata de David Malka Meshicha. Besha Tova. I'm waiting to come to this. Dear women, the 4th Suda of Shabbat is the Suda for David Malka Meshicha. This is the Suda for King David. And why do we need a Suda for King David? The 4th one, once Shabbat goes out, we have a 4th one. So dear women, it's a beautiful story. I'll open Masechet Shabbat. We are opening the Gemara on Masechet Shabbat. You know, I have to tell you something. He who studies the Gemara has a big protection. Livriut. He who studies the Gemara, look, has a big protection if he studies Mamash Lishma. Why? Because he who studies the Gemara has the 4 angels of the Merkava, of the carriage of Hashem around him. You remember when we say at night, Mimini Michael, on the right side Michael, Mismoli Gavriel, Milfanai Oriel, Machorai Raphael, Ve'man Rosh Shchinatel. So look, Gimel is Gavriel, Mem is Michael, Reish Raphael, Veze Oriel. He who studies Gemara Lishma has the carriage, the 4 angels that are the carriage of Hashem that we say at night, mamash, and we also study Lishma because we want to learn. So even the little that we study, Bezrat Hashem, all those angels will protect us. Amen, Bezrat Hashem. Ken, it is beautiful. Gemara. So it says in the Gemara, Masechet Shabbat, dear women, okay, page 30, Amud Aleph, okay, it says like this. De'amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav, Mai dichtiv, what's written, Hodi'eni Hashem kitzi umidat yamai mahi. It says in chapter 39 Tehillim, when we read Tehillim, King David tells Hashem, he asks him, God, tell me how long am I going to live in this world, he says. When am I going to die? Tell me exactly the day, the hour, when I'm going to die. אמר דוד לפני הקדוש ברוך הוא, ריבונו של עולם, הודיעני השם קצי, אמר לו, גזרה מלפני שאין מודיעין קיצו של בשר מדם. ומידת ימי. He says, God says, it's a decree for me that I do not tell anyone when he's going to pass away, when he's going to die. ומידת ימי מהי? גזרה מלפני שאין מודיעין היא מידת ימיו של האדם. I cannot tell you anything, the hour that you'll pass away, nothing about the time that you're going to pass away. ואדע מחדל אני, I need to know, בעזרת השם, when I'll stop living. He says, God told him, the only thing I can tell you, he says, אמר לו, בשבת תמות. On Shabbat you're going to pass away. This is the only thing that I can tell you, he says. So he tells him, he says, does the kingdom of King Solomon already here? So King David asks him in a different way. Is it already here, the kingdom of King Solomon? So he tells him, I cannot tell you. But once one kingdom stops, the other kingdom starts. En malchut nogad b'malchut. No kingdom can touch another kingdom. So King David now knows he's going to pass away on Shabbat, and he has to prepare himself. What shall he do? So, dear women, every Shabbat, he studied the Torah. He did not stop saying divrei Torah in his mouth, words of Torah in his mouth. He studied all the time. Now, the angel of death, it came the time he wanted to take him, but he could not take King David. Every time that Shabbat passed away, and King David saw that he did not die, he made a big feast, a meal, in order to celebrate. Here's another Shabbat that I'm alive. I have another week. Because the Shabbat passed away, and I'm alive. Nothing happened to me. Baruch Hashem, the Seudah de David Malka Meshicha. He made a Seudah, and he was very happy. That when the time came, the angel of death didn't know what to do. He saw that he did not stop to say, when he said divrei Torah, the angel of death cannot take the human being. If we sit next to a person that is on his deathbed, you will see that while you are still saying divrei Torah, he cannot pass away. The moment you stop, this is the time that they can take him. There's no permission to the angel of death to take a person while there's still divrei Torah around him. So, dear women, what he did, there was a garden outside the palace. So he went to the garden, and it says that the angel, the Gemara says, he sat on one of the trees and he moved it. So King David heard that something is moving in the garden. He wanted to see what it is. But he was still saying, sometimes our children call us and we say Tehillim, we still continue to say that Tehillim and we go towards them. But when he went down the steps, one of the steps, the angel of death broke, and he fell, he stopped to say divrei Torah, and then he took him. עד כדי כך, תארו לכם מה זה. So King David did as a meal after when Shabbat went out, Motzei Shabbat Melaveh Malka, which means that he escorted the queen, which is Shabbat, Boi Kala. This is the queen, because it's like a bride Shabbat. So dear women, he escorted her with a big meal. So you'll ask me, okay, so King David passed away, so why do we do Melaveh Malka? It's a good question, isn't it? Why do we do Melaveh Malka? So Orach Chaim HaKadosh says, a beautiful thing over there, it says in Parashat Bereshit, Vayachulu HaShamayim. Dear women, so Orach Chaim, Rabbi Chaim Ben Attar says a beautiful thing about it. He says when God created the world, He created only 6 days and the livelihood of those 6 days. He did not create the continuation of the world. When Shabbat came, and we say, Vayachulu HaShamayim, Yom HaShishi, dear women, then from this day, from Shabbat, there's livelihood for another 6 days. This is how the world works. If nobody will keep Shabbat, then the world goes back to chaos, tohu vavohu. There's no continuation of the world. Every Shabbat, there's livelihood for another 6 days. Then the next Shabbat, there's a livelihood for another 6 days. That's how it works. And from the beginning, there was always one righteous person to keep Shabbat. It was Adam HaRishon. And then it was his son, Shet. And then after his son, we have Metushelach. And after Metushelach, we have Avraham Avinu, V'az Yitzchak. But this is how it continues, V'Yaakov, and the sons of Yaakov. Even the Jewish people that were slaves in Egypt kept Shabbat. Because you remember Moshe Rabbeinu told Pharaoh, he told him, the slaves cannot work 7 days a week. You have to give them 1 day that they will rest. And what day he gave them? He gave them Shabbat. Yismach Moshe b'matnat chelko. Ki eved ne'eman karat lo. We say that you remember we spoke 2 weeks about it, and I'll explain why he was so happy. It says that Moshe Rabbeinu was very happy. We say that in the morning, Shacharit shel Shabbat, okay, the davening in the Shacharit, in the Tfilat Shmona Esrei, we say, Yismach Moshe b'matnat chelko. Moshe is very happy with his part, because he gave Shabbat to the Jewish people in Egypt. So they always kept Shabbat. If he wouldn't have kept Shabbat, all the world will go back to chaos. Who can keep Shabbat? Only the children of Israel. Why? Because God commanded them to keep Shabbat. God said, it says that Shabbat came to the day of the 7th day came to Hashem, and he said to Hashem, God, all the days they have mates, which means because we have 6 days, so 6 days you can pair them in twos. He says, but I am the 7th day, and I'm not even, nobody is my pair. So who is my pair? God said, the children of Israel that will keep Shabbat, they are your pair. How do we know that? We know that by the menorah. The menorah, dear women, look at the menorah. It goes like this, okay? Dear women, until when in the week, the days of the week, we can say Havdalah? Until Tuesday, okay? We say, when we come to Wednesday, we already say Shabbat Shalom Mevorach, nachon? As look, 3 days, we have over here, let's say Ze Rishon, Ze Sheni, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, okay? Tuesday. And then we have over here Wednesday, okay? And then Thursday, and then Friday, okay? This is Shabbat. So you see the 3 days, the first 3 days of the week, they get their energy from Shabbat that already passed away. And the 3 days of the week, the continuation, they get the energy from the Shabbat that is coming. Look how beautiful, it's from the menorah, from the Shabbat. That's why we are allowed to say Havdalah until Tuesday, including Tuesday. ממש, הכל הולך לפי המנורה, כן, מותר
But Havdalah until Tuesday we can say, but without candle and without besam.
בסדר, but you can say Havdalah, dear women. You see it over here? It comes from the menorah, dear women. And then the 4 days. What do we say when we say in Shacharit? We say the song of the day. We say Yom Echad b'Shabbat Kodesh, nachon? Yom Echad b'Shabbat, Yom Sheni b'Shabbat. We refer everything to Shabbat. Why? Because the livelihood of the world comes from the 7th day, from Shabbat. By keeping the Shabbat, there's livelihood to the 7th day, which means that every Shabbat, after Shabbat, there's אפשרות, possibility to that. There's a possibility that the world will come back to chaos. If we didn't keep the Shabbat, we didn't keep the laws of Shabbat, there's a possibility that the whole world will come to chaos. So every Motzei Shabbat, when it comes and the world did not come to chaos, we need to celebrate Suda de David Malka Meshicha. Because there's livelihood for another 6 days. Do you understand how important it is? There's livelihood to another 6 days of Shabbat. תסתכלו. Only because we kept the Shabbat. And we did Oneg Shabbat. Dear women. So that's why we do the 4th meal, which is Sudat de David Malka Meshicha. And we are happy to do that. Because even though King David already passed away, but his heritage is that every time when Motzei Shabbat comes means, and the world continues, it continues to have livelihood, it means that we kept Shabbat, Baruch Hashem. That there was at least one righteous people that kept Shabbat Moshe Tzarich. So, dear women, this is the fourth Suda that comes from the David Malka Mashiach, dear women.
אני מכירה מישהו שקוראים לו דוד מלכה.
כי זה המשיח. את מכירה? באמת? בכל מקרה, dear women, כי הוא משיח. זה בארמית, דוד מלכה משיח, אנחנו מחכים למשיח. אז זה הסעודה, כי מדוד יוצא משיח. From King David comes משיח. Okay, so that's why it's called Suda de David Malka Mashiach, because every time Shabbat passed away and Motzei Shabbat came, he made a meal that he was happy that he was alive. We are happy that we are alive for another, and we have livelihood for another 6 days. The 6 days that are coming, Bezrat Hashem.
The most important meal of the Shabbat?
All of them are important. כל 4 סעודות של שבת חשובות מאוד. לכל אחד יש תפקיד. תסתכלי באינטרנט בשיעור בעברית שנתתי גם על זה, על 3 סעודות. מאוד חשוב. It's very important. I told you, oneg will not become nega, which means pleasure will not become sickness, God forbid, or judgment. Nega, which means judgment, dear women. So let's continue. What bone in our body, because when we eat, okay, the whole body is flourishing from the food that we are eating, because if we're blessed, everything mamash lishma. Dear women, the bone that is over here in the neck, which is called the bone of Luz, this is the bone that is going from this will be Tchiyat HaMetim, resurrection. This is the only bone that you cannot break it, and God is going to create the whole human being around this bone. The 4th meal is the pleasure of this bone, Etzem Luz, which means this bone eats spiritually from the 4th meal of Shabbat. The 4th meal of Shabbat gives spiritual food to this bone. Etzem Luz. And I wanted to tell you something. I was thinking about it, about Etzem Shel Luz, dear women. And I thought about the name of Luz. Look over here. זה השם של העצם, Luz. That's the name of the bone, okay? Over here, בעורף, dear women. The name has also secrets in it. זה גם חידושים. עכשיו, look, dear women. We have the Lamed, and Lamed we know that Sofer Stam writes it with a Vav and a Chaf, nachon? Which, this is Chaf Vav, the name of God, nachon? The name of God, 26. The name of God. Chaf is 20, Vav is 6 numerical value, together it's 26. Vav over here is 6, and Zayin is 7. How much is 6 plus 7? 13. Yud Gimel Midot. Look. Dear women, which means in order to stay alive after resurrection, we need to know what the Rabbi Moshe Cordover, זכותו תגן עלינו, הרמ"ק אומר, בטוב ודבורה, we need to fix our measures. Those are the 13 attributes of Hashem. You remember? 13. Look inside the word lose. We have a hint. Because you know, when there was resurrection, this is the big judgment day. The wicked people will vanish from the world totally, forever, and only the righteous will stay in this world. In order to stay in this world, dear women, we need, dear women, to work on our measures. ראוי שידמה האדם לקונו, which means we need to emulate God's measures. It's inside. But look, there's another thing, and it's beautiful. If we'll count the Lamed, okay, we have Lamed. Lamed is 30. Okay, Lamed is 30 numerical value. So if we take 30 plus 6 plus 7, 30 plus 13, how much is it? 43. You know, I was thinking about what is 43, and I'm writing the Jewish laws. I'm writing the Jewish laws. I'm going to give it to you once it's finished. The Jewish laws of Afrashat Chala, of taking a portion of Chala. So in Shulchan Aruch, it's written that from what portion do you take a portion of Chala? You take from a Chala that you have 43 eggs and the fifth of an egg. 43 eggs. Chalato shel olam. Like, who is the chalato? Who is the chala of the world? The first human being. So it goes back. I was thinking, what is 43? And I said, I saw this number, 43. I know I saw. And then I remembered, I just wrote it in the Jewish laws of challah, how to separate. From what amount do you separate a challah? And how do you know that you have the right amount? So in those days, they used to take 43 eggs, put them in a container with water, and the water was up till the end of the container, and the amount of water that went down, this is the amount of dough that you should take out of this, a portion of a challah. Yeah, this is how they do it. So dear women, Mem Gimel, it's a portion of what? Of challah. Tistaklu, הפרשת challah. But I would like to show another thing that was very exciting. This is very exciting. I wanted to, if I'm taking look, if I'm taking, this is chidushim, mamash chidushim. זה ממש, we have the merit to have ממש chidushim טריים. מהקדוש ברוך הוא ישר. מה? ממש זה מהקדוש ברוך הוא. Like last lesson, we had chidushim, and the lesson before that, dear women, it's straight from Hashem. Dear women, so if we take 26, okay? If we take 26, first, the 26 is the name of God of Chesed, mercy, okay? Vav, we have confession. Ze Vav Avidui. Vav is confession. What is Vav? Vav ze Emet Yaakov. It's the Tiferet. You remember the Yud is Chochmah, is wisdom. The Hey is Binah, is understanding. And Vav is all over the body, over here. This is the Vav. Hey is Malchut, from the name of God. This is Vav Shel Yaakov. Ki Vav means truth. You remember at the end, when we say that Eliyahu Navi is going to come, in the book of Malachi, dear women, of the prophet of Malachi, it says from Eliyahu without the Vav. Because in one place, Yaakov Avinu took the Vav from him. And Yaakov is written with a Vav. Why? Because Yaakov wants that Eliyahu Navi will pay attention that in Malachi he's written without a Vav. And he will remember his children, Yaakov's children, and he will come and save us. This is the Vav. Vav Vidui, Vav Shel Emet, dear women. We'll deal with Emet and Adam in a minute. And Zayin is the way that God created the world in 7 days. Okay? This is the way that God created the world in 7 days, dear women. So we can see over here, we have 2 ways that God rules the world. One is by nature, okay, which means that fire burns, water drowns, everything is by nature. The strong person, even if he's not right, he will win, God forbid. But this is the way of nature. And there's another way of handling the world that God handles the world, is above nature. You remember that the letters, the number 7 and then the number 8, we spoke about it, 7 and 8. This is 2 different things. So we can see over here the hint of 7, the way of nature. If a person drowns in nature, it's Vayishman Yeshurun Vayiv'at. Look over here. It's written, Bechumash Dvarim Ba'azinu Vayishman Yeshurun Vayiv'at. It means that the children of Israel became fat from the pleasures of life. Fat, b'merchot, not fat truly physically, but sveim, satisfied from all, satiated with all of the pleasures of this world. Then they do not remember Hashem. Vayiv'at. But Vayiv'at, tistaklu, is Teva. Teva, you see the Teva? Teva, which means then the protection of Hashem that is above nature we become part of nature. We are under the mazalot, under the constellations, because if we don't remember Hashem, dear women, then we are just like everybody else. We are under the constellations, the mazalot. So this is the Sheva, and Sheva is also, dear women, is a hint for Yemot HaMashiach. That Bezrat Hashem Mashiach will come soon, Bezrat Hashem. זה ימות, סליחה? זה השביעי, זה השבע, זה זין, זה שבע. זה ימות המשיח, dear women. So you can see it over here. And if we'll take Bezrat Hashem, רק רגע, 36, 39. You can see if you add, dear women, the 13 to the 26th, okay, this is 13 at Gimel. What do you get if you add 13 to 26? 39. מה זה 39? למתת. למתת מלאכות של שבת. So he who keeps Shabbat and the Jewish laws of Shabbat will be saved, Bezrat Hashem. And when there's resurrection, Bezrat Hashem will have the merit to stay in this world, dear women. So these are the part of the things that we can learn from this bone, dear women. So let's continue. Dear women, it's written by Masachet Chulin. I told you to read this.
Yes.
אני כבר אמרתי. Masachet Chulin, dear women, let's go page 89, page 89. It's written that God loves the children of Israel because of their modesty. So it's referring to three people that we can see their modesty, we can learn from them. So it says, רק שנייה.
חולין, חטא ו'.
חולין, כן. מסכת חולין, פי ת'. עמוד א', dear women. היא מקשיבה, אני יודעת שהיא מקשיבה. אני מכירה כבר את הדינה. Dear women, it says like this. אמר להם הקדוש ברוך הוא לישראל, God told the children of Israel, חושקני בכם. I love you, he says, שאפילו בשעה שאני משפיע עליכם גדולה, once I give you גדולה, greatness, he says, אתם ממעטים עצמכם, which means you make yourself humble. So God says, נתתי גדולה לאברהם אבינו, I gave greatness to אברהם אבינו, אמר לפניי, אנוכי עפר ואפר. He said in front of me, I am only dust and ashes. נתתי גדולה למשה ואהרון, I gave Moshe ואהרון greatness, because Moshe was a king and Aaron was a high priest. אמרו, ואנחנו מה? And what are we? Like they considered themselves nothing in this world. לדוד he gave greatness, King David he gave, and King David said, ואמר, ואנוכי תולעת, לא איש. I am a worm and not a human being. So he said, I gave you them greatness, and they compared themselves to nothing. You know, Moshe Rabbeinu, the Masechet, it's beautiful because it speaks also about Moshe Rabbeinu, so I'll give you something about Moshe Rabbeinu. Midat ha'anava shel Moshe Rabbeinu. It says Masechet Shabbat, about Moshe Rabbeinu, God gives Moshe Rabbeinu the Torah, okay? B'ma'amad Har Sinai, Moshe Rabbeinu goes up to the mountain of Sinai and he gives him the Torah. I won't go through the old story, but I will go to the end of the story. Satan comes, he wants to see the Torah. He comes to Hashem and he says, God, where is the Torah? So God says, I gave the Torah. So Satan goes to seek where did the Torah go to. So he says, just a minute, I'll find it. הנה, אמר רבי יהושע בן לוי, בשעה שירד משה לפני הקדוש ברוך הוא, בא שטן ואמר לפניו, ריבונו של עולם, תורה הכני, Satan came and asked Hashem, and where is Torah? אמר לו, נתתי על הארץ, I gave it to earth, I gave it down to this world, he says. הלך אצל ארץ. So Satan went to the ground, to earth, and he asked, he says, אמר לה, תורה הכני, he asked, where is the Torah? אמרה לו, אלוקים מבין דרכה. God knows where she is. I don't know where it is. It's not with me. So הלך אצל הים. He went to the ocean. ואמר לו, שאל אותו, where is Torah? And he says, אין עמדי. I don't have it. הלך אצל התהום. He went to the waters that are inside the ground. He said, אמר לו, אין בי. They told him, we don't have it. שנאמר תהום, אמר לא בי. And the ocean said, it's not me. So אמר לפני הקדוש ברוך הוא, ריבונו של עולם, חיפשתי בכל הארץ ולא מצאתי. I was searching all over the earth, but I couldn't find it. אמר לו, לך אצל בן עמרם. Go to Moshe Rabbeinu, Ben Amram, the son of Amram, he says. הלך אצל משה, אמר לו, תורה שנתן לך הקדוש ברוך הוא. He went to Moshe. He said, the Torah that God gave you, היכן היא, where is she? אמר לו, וכי מה אני שנתן לי? He says, who am I that God will give me the Torah? So, Satan went back to Hashem, and he tells the Kadosh Baruch Hu, Moshe says, Ben Amram says that he did not receive the Torah. So Kadosh Baruch Hu calls Moshe Rabbeinu. אמר לו הקדוש ברוך הוא למשה, משה, ודאי אתה? Moshe, are you lying? I gave you the Torah. How could you tell Satan you did not get the Torah, he says. ודאי אתה? אמר לפניו. Moshe answers, ריבונו של עולם, he says, God, חמודה גנוזה יש לך, שאתה משתעשע בה בכל יום. He says, you have the Torah, and you enjoy it every day. And it was before the world was created. He says, אני אחזיק טובה לעצמי, I will hold it as a favor for myself, that you gave it to me, he says. אמר לו, God told him, למשה, הואיל ומיעט את עצמך, because you are so humble. You know, because a person who spoke to Hashem, panim el panim, and the person that received the Torah can feel himself like it's a person who went al har הכי גבוה, that climbed the highest mountain, dear women, like the Everest, like a person who's climbing the Everest and is standing from the top and looking down, he can feel a lot of pride. And dear women, he says, because you are so humble, this Torah is going to be called on your name. This Torah will be your Torah, and it will be called on your name. Vezot Torah asher tziva Moshe, dear women. So look, this is humbleness. So how do we see the humbleness, dear women? We see it in the words, just a minute, emet. Look at the word, emet, which is truth, ve'adam. Everything is over here. Because Aleph of Adam is Avraham Avinu. It stands for Aleph, stands for Avraham. A man, Adam is a man, Aleph is Avraham. Dalet is David, Vemem is Moshe ve'Aaron. Dear women, look over here. What did Avraham say? That he is ashes and dust. Afar ve'efer. Efer ve'afar. Look. This is what Avraham Avinu said. What did David the Melech say, King David say? That he is tolat. He's a worm. Ataf or tolat. What did Moshe Rabbeinu said? Ma nachnu. Ve'nachnu ma. Look. Ve'nachnu ma. You see? We are nothing in this world. Moshe ve'Aaron. Nachnu ma. So you see, it stands for everything. Adam, dear women, is for the first human being, King David, and then, dear women, Mashiach b'mera b'yameinu amen. Mem shel Mashiach. You see it over here? Everything is inside. This is the truth. The first human being, Am Yisrael, should be called Yeshurun, because Yeshurun comes from the word honest, true, has the measure of truth in it. So, dear women, we can see that a human being should cleanse to truth, to emet. It says at the end of days that Eliyahu Hanavi, when he comes, there's a parasha she's tuma, that people do not understand it. It's written in Masechet Eduyot, dear women. It's written over there, dear women. If I remember right, it's page 8. It's written over, chapter 8, sorry. It's written over there, במסכת עדויות, במשנה, that when Eliyahu Hanavi will come, הוא יקרב בכוח את המרוחקים, וירחיק בכוח את המקורבים. Which means he's going, בכוח הזרוע, with the power of the arm, to take everything that is far away close together, and everything that is close to separate it. So the question is, what is this midrash speaking about? Midrash is a midrash satum. Dear women, it speaks about truth. Look, truth, emet, and sheker. Dear women, sheker, everything starts and ends with letters. Sheker, dear women, we'll look at the letters, it's one after the other. It's Kuf, Reish, Veshin. Nachon comes one after the other. Emet is the first letter in the Hebrew alphabet. Taf is the last letter, the 22 letter. And then Mem is in the middle, Emtza, of the alphabet, the Hebrew alphabet. When Eliyahu Hanavi is going to come, now the world is filled with lies. He will take the letters of sheker and he will separate them, because they're one after the other. You see, Kuf, Resh, Shin, it comes in the Hebrew Aleph Bet. So he will separate the letters of sheker from one another, and he will take the letters of emet, of truth. Sheker is a lie. He will take the letters of truth and he will put them one next to the other, which means that we will see the truth out of the lies in this world. That we will have the ability with our spiritual eyes to see the truth in this world. And everything starts and ends with the letters, because the letters of lie are close to each other. You see it? And the letters of truth are very far away from each other. Aleph, the first letter, is the first letter of the Hebrew Aleph. The Taf is the last letter, and Mem is in the middle. Eliyahu the prophet is going to take them and put them one next to the other, so we can see out of the falseness of this world, we can see the truth. So he will take away the lies of this world. He will give us just the ability with the spiritual eyes to see the truth. Be'ezrat Hashem, שיהיה לנו בעזרת השם, I want to wish all of you בעזרת השם, that we will have a good month בעזרת השם, that משיח צדקנו יתגלה במהרה בימינו אמן, שיגיע מבשר אליהו נביא אליהו תשבילגנו מרב שלנו אליהו נביא זכור לטוב, לעולם יפרד אדם מחברו בדבר הלכה יחיד ורבים הלכה כרבים. God bless